Hi guys, welcome to my channel Sushruta. Today our topic is on heterospory and seed habit. It is an important topic in pteridophytes which they can even ask in the long answers for degree students, and it is an important topic for even the competitive aspirants. This is a complicated topic, but listen carefully. It would be very much easier if you understand it carefully. Let's get into the topic. First, heterospory. What do you mean by heterospory? Heterospory is the production of two kinds of spores in the same plant. That means two different types of spores are produced in the same plant, and that process is known as heterospory. The two kinds of spore differ in structure as well as in function. That means the difference in the spores is shown in not only in the structure but even in the function also. Here in pteridophytes, spores are two types. What are they? Microspore and megaspore. Microspore, it is small in size, and megaspore, it is large or bigger in size when compared to microspores. And this microspore is produced inside the microsporangium. This megaspore is inside megasporangium. The microspore is developed into male gametophyte and the megaspore develops into female gametophyte. When compared to the megaspore, the microspores will be produced in a huge amount. A large number of microspores is produced when compared to megaspores. Next, look at this one. It is important. See, incipient heterospory. Incipient means it is not a new word or a different or difficult word. Incipient means just beginning. That means the heterospory is first started in pteridophytes. So, incipient heterospory is seen in pteridophytes, intermediate heterospory is seen in pteridophytes, and complete heterospory is even seen in pteridophytes. And these are the examples for it. For incipient heterospory, that means just beginning of the heterospory. It was seen in Equisetum, a fossil plant. At present, it is not a living plant. And intermediate heterospory. That means it is when the heterospory is not completed, it is seen in Platysoma. The complete heterospory is seen in Marsilea selaginella. And the complete heterospory is even seen in gymnosperms and angiosperms, which are known as spermatophytes. Look at this diagram carefully. This is the geological development of the sporous conditions. See, first homosporous ancestor. Some of the pteridophytes and the bryophytes has this homosporous character. Spores are inside and outside sporangium. In this condition, two types of spores are similar spores in their size, structure, function, shape. In all the aspects, the spores will be of same. That condition is known as homosporous condition. From them, we have seen the heterospory. In heterospory, microspores of small size and megaspores of large size are developed. Due to some nutritive and environmental conditions, heterospory is developed. And from them, it reduction to one megaspore and endospory. See, here finally a single megaspore is left. This condition, after this is the final product of geological development. That means evolutionary final product is this sporangium enveloped by integuments. This is seen only in spermatophytes, that means gymnosperms and angiosperms. This is seen only in seed bearing plants. So, it is seen only in gymnosperms and angiosperms. So, till here, that means reduction to one megaspore. Till here, we can see in pteridophytes. But here, we'll only see this in gymnosperms and angiosperms. Remember this. The production of two types of spores with different sexuality was first evolved in pteridophytes. Yes, pteridophytes are the primitive plants to see this heterospory. According to Rashid in 1976, Only 9 genera of pteridophytes are heterosporous. Rashid, in 1976, according to his experiments and according to his research, only 9 genera of pteridophytes are heterosporous. The rest all pteridophytes are homosporous. What are those 9 genera? They are Selaginella, Icetes, Stylites, Marsilia, Pilularia, Regnalidium, Salvinia, Azole, and Platysoma. These are the 9 genera in which heterosporous condition is seen in pteridophytes. Next, heterospory brings in a new type of gametophyte, that is endosporic. Endosporic means inside the spore wall. That means the germination takes place inside the spore wall. In homosporous condition, exosporic is seen. In that exosporic condition, the germination will take place outside the spore wall, which I'll tell you later, which is a biological advancement over exosporic, outside the spore wall. Exosporic gametophyte of homosporous plants. In homosporous plants, we have seen only exosporic. The endosporic condition is initiated in heterospory plants of pteridophytes. This is the starting point of this endosporic gametophyte condition. Next, origin of heterospory. That means the initiation of heterospory. How it is initiated, we'll see. The origin of heterospory can be better discussed on the basis of evidences from paleobotany, developmental and experimental studies. First, paleobotanical evidences. It has been suggested that heterospory arose due to degeneration of some spores in a few sporangia. As more nutrition becomes available to less number of spores, the surviving spore grow better, hence increase in their size. That means, as I said before, in heterospory, degeneration of some spores takes place in a few sporangia. Let me show you. See, look at this diagram. Here, many number of spores are seen, megaspores. From these, some spores are degenerated. If a single spore is left, the nutrition which should be given to all spores will be absorbed by the single spore. That point is discussed here. So, as more nutrition becomes available to less number of spores, the surviving spore grow better, hence increase in their size, and they can even increase in the sizes of the spores. Paleobotanical evidences shows that the earlier vascular plants were all homosporous and the heterosporous condition appeared in the upper Devonian period. That means these evidences says that the initially formed pteridophytes are all homosporous. The later formed pteridophytes in the upper Devonian period, from that pteridophytes, the heterosporous condition appeared. A number of heterosporous genera belonging to Lycopsida, Sphenopsida and Pteropsida were known in the late Devonian and early Carboniferous periods. That is the reason why we say this is the golden age or age of pteridophytes. Okay. Next, evidence is from developmental studies. That means from paleobotanical evidence, what we have learned? Nutrition. Nutritional conditions even influence the heterospory. And from here, in heterosporous pteridophytes, the development of micro and megasporangia follow the same pattern. How? Let's see. While in megasporangia, most of the spore mother cells degenerate, but in microsporangia, only a few mother cells are degenerated. But in formation, that means in development of micro and megasporangia, they follow the same pattern. But when it comes to the degeneration, megasporangia, most of the spore mother cells degenerate, but in microsporangia, only a few mother cells are degenerated. In Marsilia, Salvinia and Ozola, the phenomenon of heterospory becomes different after meiosis. How they gets different? See, there is an example. In Marsilia, 64 microspores and 64 megaspores are formed. Yes, as in the first point says, they follow the same pattern, no? So they even formed of the same number. But after meiosis in the microsporangium and megasporangium, all microspores are functional, but only one megaspore is functional and rest got degenerated. See, in 64 microspores, some got degenerated and majority of the microspores are active. But when it comes to the megaspores, 63 got degenerated and only one megaspore is functional. The rest got degenerated. That is the evidences from developmental studies. And next, evidences from experimental studies. See, this is the important evidence. Experimental studies on Selaginella was done by Goebel in 1905 and on Marsilea done by Shattuck in 1910 suggest that nutritional factors mainly govern the heterospory. And under conditions of low light intensity, the photosynthetic activity of Selaginella was retarded and it produced microsporangia. See, that means the experimental studies says that nutritional factors mainly govern the heterospory. That is the reason. Due to the light intensity has decreased in Selaginella. That means if light intensity is decreased, the photosynthesis will be decreased. If photosynthesis is decreased, the food production will be decreased and formed microsporangia. But in Marsilea, Shattuck found that cold treatment of sporocarp of Marsilea resulted in production of aborted microspores and megaspores. That means when the cold treatment is done, the temperature conditions are decreased. The microspores, majority of the microspores and megaspores are aborted. That means degenerated. But when they are allowed to grow under favorable conditions, the remaining and surviving microspores enlarged up to 6 times their normal size. The largest of these in size resemble the megaspore. That means when the experiment is done, when the sporocarp of Marsilea has taken under the cold treatment, majority of the microspores and megaspores got degenerated. A minute amount of spores are left. When that are allowed to grow under favorable conditions, the remaining, that means the minute amount is left, no? That number of spores, surviving microspores, enlarged up to 6 times their normal size. That means when compared to their original size, it increased up to 6 times of its original size. See, the largest of these in size resemble the megaspore. Out of them, the largest one will be the megaspore. Next, significance or importance of heterospory. The phenomenon of heterospory is of great biological importance by the below points. There is a huge importance of heterospory. They are: the development of the female gametophyte starts while the megaspore is still inside the megasporangium. That means in homospory, the development of the female gamete takes place after the germination. But here, the development of the female gametophyte starts while the megaspore is still inside the megasporangium. When the megaspore is present inside the megasporangium only, the development of female gametophyte takes place. But when it comes to the homospory, it will not take place like that. The development of the female gametophyte takes place on the external surface with the external environmental conditions. That is, on the soil, the development of the female gametophyte takes place. That too after germination. See, even microspores also start germinating into the male gametophyte while they are still inside the microsporangium. Just like megaspores, microspores even develop inside the microsporangium. The female gametophyte derives its nourishment from the sporophyte. That means the nourishment means nothing. Nutrition is gained from the sporophyte. That means still the female gametophyte is depending on the sporophyte for its nutrition. That is, female gametophyte is dependent on sporophyte for its nourishment. But in homospory, first it has to germinate and the gametophyte has to develop it should undergo photosynthesis and then it has to get nutrition. It's a huge process, but in heterospory it's not like that. Female gametophyte gets the nutrition from the sporophyte only. The dependence of female gametophyte on sporophyte for its nourishment provides better starting point for the development of new embryo than an independent green prothallus which has to manufacture its own food. First of all, prothallus is not a different word. Gametophyte is also known as prothallus. To tell that thing, I have just introduced this word here, that's it. That means it is said that for the development of new embryo, heterospory is more comfortable than the independent green prothallus which has to manufacture its own food. As I said before, the independent prothallus has to develop, it has to perform photosynthesis, and then it has to prepare its own food. In spite of that, this is a better process. So heterospory it is also an important for heterospory. Next, seed habit in pteridophytes. Seed habit involves the origin and formation of seed from non-seed bearing plants. That means the starting and formation of seeds from non-seed bearing plants is known as seed habit. It involves following changes in non-seed bearing plants. That means in non-seed bearing plants, after introduction of these following changes, the seeds may start form. Production of two types of spores, heterospory. Yes, reduction in the number of megaspores to a single megaspore within the megasporangium. In the previous diagram, I'll show you. See, here from number of megaspores, it developed into the single megaspore. It is saying reduction in the number of megaspores to a single megaspore within the megasporangium. It is also a change has to occur, and retention of the megaspore within the megasporangium. That means the megaspore has to be inside the megasporangium to gain the nourishment. And fertilization of egg and formation of embryo in situ, inside. These are the characters, these are the changes has to be occur in non-seed bearing plants to turn into the seed bearing. The nearest approach to seed like habit is present in Selaginella by the above characters presence. Above characters are present in Selaginella, so it has majority of the chances to attain the seed habit, but even the seeds are not formed in Selaginella. Why? Due to the lack of the following characters. What are they? Megasporangium is not surrounded by integuments. Yes, megasporangium, see, once observe this picture clearly, here the megasporangium is surrounded by integuments, and this is only seen in spermatophytes, that means gymnosperms and angiosperms in seed bearing plants. But that character is not seen in Selaginella. And the retention of the megaspore permanently within the megasporangium has not been well established. Well, here remember the word well. That means the retention of the megaspore within the megasporangium occurs, but it is not completely occurred. So remember the well established. It should be remembered by you. The embryo immediately gives rise to the sporophyte without undergoing a resting period. After formation of embryo, it has to take a gap to form sporophyte. But in Selaginella, the embryo immediately gives rise to the sporophyte without undergoing a gap. That means that gap is resting period. So lack of these characters indicates Selaginella as non-seed bearing plants. If these characters are present, it would have become a seed bearing plant. That's it for today, guys. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel Sushruta. Bye bye guys, meet you in the next video.